Hey, Steve Basic Architect. Yeah, welcome back. Today's video, we're still continue that talk. 1852. Historic remodel. Yeah. So, got that beautiful section up behind me. Yeah, I think next to details, floor plans, and building elevations, building sections are my favorite. Yeah, it was a bad architectural dad joke. But anyway, you can see here, this is through the long dimension, but we'll dissect it here. A couple things. This is the original house here, right? A couple things to note, and this is, like I said, existing. So we did some things. We moved some walls around, maybe slid a window an inch or two, put up some new partitions. But for the most part, all of these heights are exactly the same that they were ceiling heights. And you can see they're not very tall, 7 foot and change there. Notice the old basement to the new basement, that we actually have a delta there. I want to say it was probably about 22 inches there. But also note, look at how shallow those floors are. Yeah, we had to reinforce some of them with LVLs and stiffen them up a little bit, but they really didn't grow in thickness because we didn't have that kind of latitude. So we did a bunch of little, kind of jump through hoops and solved for that. But pretty much that's how it was. And you can see some of the, existing sill heights on the windows, all of that stuff remained. And then you can see, the size of those floor members to what we actually put in on the new framing plans here. I believe these were 11 7/8 and those were 9 1/2 there. And we actually had to do a little carving out there just to be able to get headroom down the stairs, so that when we went into that basement, the homeowners really wanted some basement space here, a rec room, play area here that was full height. I mean, this here, my head was scratching on the floor joist above when I walked through there. And then you can see first floor here, this is that glass door, and then we went out to that porch on the outside. And of course, this is how we created that negative space where we have that window seat and some bookshelves and all of that good stuff up there. And we actually punched up the ceiling there. You can see there's a little slope there. So the ceiling up there actually goes like that in the bedroom. There's a little slope section. We punched it up, I don't know, about 8 inches just to give the owner's suite a little bit more expanse than the rest of the house up there. Yeah, that's the section of the house. Not a whole lot of magic. You don't see it here because this is the wall that was parallel, but the two end walls there's a little notch in the foundation there to pick up those floor joists so we could maintain a very close subfloor to grade dimension of probably somewhere around 12 to 14 inches. So that really helped out. But remember, we kept the original house, because I think my favorite photo is the next one. We kept the original house. Now, all of the stuff here, this is I showed as hatched, but that is a stone rubble foundation. And the reality of that was water just poured in through there. And there was, a lot of evidence that that basement would get flooded. So we had to come up with a really good water management system on this project, in addition to, fixing a 170-year-old house, bringing it up to date, maintaining some of the Historic Commission's wishes, and then exhuming a kind of no tolerance policy for water intrusion. And so the solution was pretty much we cut all of this out, and we cut that wall out. And yeah, so there's the photo I've been talking about. I love that photo. I don't know why, I just find it very, very intriguing. You know, you look at it, and at first glance, you sit there and say, why would you save that? And it's really, in this particular case, specific case, it is really about the story behind it, the Historic Commission's desire to save the house, the homeowner's willingness to save the original 1852 timber frame. So, so we did. But you can also see we cut out a whole bunch here, and we ended up cutting out a whole bunch there, and we took out the slab. You can see we tore off all of the bad decisions that were made on that project. And, you know, we actually put up some house wrap there just temporarily to keep water and stuff out while we were demoing and guys were working in there. Yeah, pretty dramatic. But also note, this comes and then it drops down. Remember, from that building section, because that'll be an important feature in understanding how we solve for the water management system for the slab, as well as the fact that, yeah, you can barely see it here, but this is just all big stone rubble. And like I said, the water would go into the ground. It would just seep in there, and man, it would just puddle in there. It was absolutely horrible situation there. But anyways, we took it, and voila, huh? That's a pretty dramatic before and after. Yeah, the photo that you were just looking at here, right, versus the photo that you are now seeing. There's this addition here that goes up. There. And then that goes back. So that original house is buried, you know, somewhere in back there. It's buried back there, and then we added all of that on there. And you know, like I said in some of the previous videos, we have that all glass wall. We have our accessible ramp there. This is actually graded up, so the delta between here and here is probably about 4 inches, just so that, you know, can aid. And then you can see there's just a couple steps up to that mudroom door. Notice also we have one of our cleanouts there for the septic system. It was just hard to get around it, so we got a nice stone cap and put that out there in the driveway. But we have a beautiful, nice porch to complement that room there with, you know, some real heavy columns. And I doubled them up so that you get a really good sense of strength. I mean, this is a pretty sizable piece of the house that we're putting on top of that. And aesthetically, I thought it looked really heavy. So we wanted some columns here that really feel like they're pushing back on that to make that look appropriate, right? So, and of course, there's even, you know, let's see if I can get it here, you know, all these little details, you know, they're, again, this is that New Englandness, right? You know, we'll do a lot of just granite steps. That's just one piece of stone, comes out of New Hampshire. Notice here, even our little light wells for the basement windows, those are all 3 pieces of granite. There's a piece here, there's a piece here, and then there's a piece on the other side. They get buried in the ground, and they make up our light well. But that's kind of the aesthetic and the language of what's going on here in New England, right? Little subtle bump out here. I don't know if you have them where you're at, but you know, onion lights there are a big time New England thing. A lot of times you'll see them, especially if you get onto the coast and stuff, you'll see those in copper down there. The round drain pipes, just very, very simple to keep that up. So, and then of course, you know, one of my favorite shots of the house, just turned out very, very well. You know, like I said, you get that negative space that's really working. And you know, if you've seen some of my other videos on social media, you'll see we just did another historic renovation where I used that idea again. I love the idea of being able to leave those doors in the living room open, even in the worst of rainstorms, because, you know, in this case here, I don't know, we have about a 7-foot, 8-foot porch that protects those doors. And then, of course, upstairs, you know, we have a nice window seat that's built in there to take advantage of those windows. We got our, what I call the dirty corner over there. And then if you watch some of the previous videos, we talked a little bit about that front entryway there. So anyways, I don't know. I think it was a huge success in the end. And the way I measure success is I can sit back here years later and look at it and say, you know, with even more experience now than I had when I did this project, is there things that I would change? And yeah, there's little to nothing I think we would change on this. It was pretty successful. So anyways, stay tuned. We're going to dive into that basement. We're going to talk a little bit about water management. Maybe we'll finish up with some interior trim, but we'll keep rolling on our 170-year-old historic remodel here. I'm Steve Basic. Thank you for joining in. I greatly appreciate it. If you are already subscribed, thank you very much. And if you're not, smash that subscribe button. Until next time, you know it, long live our buildings.